everybody, welcome back. It's good to have you here for our swing trading class. Really looking forward to our discussion today, folks. I've had some time to think about the bull flag and the bull flag setup, making it a little bit more basic and more clear and actually a little bit more functional, even as it relates to some of the code that we do have here. And I wanted to present that for you today so that we can match exactly what we're going to be looking at specifically, folks. Those swing trade setups and potential entry setups as well. So I look forward to that very much with each of you. We'll dabble into some other areas as well, but it is good to have you on board. Hello to you. We've got many of you here. Robert's here, Greg, Jay Richardson, hello, as well as Sharon, Will. Great to see you, Will, as well as Michael, and many others here, folks. Questions, comments, definitely direct those to the chat there so we can address those for you. We do have Connie Hill with us today, a great friend of mine, Connie Hill, CMT designation within technical analysis. It's great to have her here because we do talk a lot of technicals here. Connie teaches some great classes as well. But folks, you can follow us on X. Be sure to do that for Connie. Connie Hill CS, Mike Fairborn CS. Many of you already do, and it's great to have you on board as we do send out, some of those X posts as well. So with that, though, I'm going to spend more time on our presentation. We've already discussed what we're going to hit here. So let's do this. Let's go ahead and start off with some disclosures right away to get started. All right, everyone. This material is intended for general information and educational purposes only. Now, the Bitmoji software application is provided for education purposes only as well. Great thing to be mindful of. We're going to be definitely tapping into that today. Investing involves risk, including loss of principal, and for some products and strategies, more than your initial investment. Now, there is no guarantee that the execution of a stop order will be at or near the stop price. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. And of course, dividends, as we do talk about this from time to time, because some of the stocks, and actually some of the stocks we're going to look at today, do have dividends. They're not guaranteed. Okay. With that too, just a quick note. Finally here, futures and futures options trading does involve substantial risk. Folks, it's not suitable for all investors. We do only look at the charts here. We do not look at futures. We've got other classes for that, but we do like to look at the charts. And so we do have that disclosure there for you. Okay. Well, with that too, I wanted to do this. I wanted to actually dive in and just show everybody here because we do have a new group of folks with us today. Welcome to all of you. It's great to have you here. I do recognize a lot of our vets and those that are here each and every week. It's great to see you too, of course. Love to have you all on board here. But just a quick note as we talk about, potential entries and swing type setups on the market, the swing trade itself. What are we looking at on the swing trade? A lot of times, folks, 3 to 15 day move. We're trying to get kind of the core move of an upward trend. So what do we have in place initially? Well, we've got the trend established, higher highs and higher lows. We're trying to build on that and maybe find those areas where there are kind of higher levels of strength and maybe higher expectations of a move. To do that, we do incorporate price patterns. Price patterns can be very helpful. A bull flag. Do you see the bull flag there? Well, it's like right there. Kind of looks like a flag right there. And you see different sort of variations of flags. This is generally the flag formation, though. Noted for a strong upward move, right? In line with the trend, which is what we like to see because the trend in motion oftentimes will tend to stay in motion until it doesn't, right? You got to throw that in there because the trends always do change. But yeah, higher highs and higher lows, upward strength. We're seeing a strong upward move followed by a more mild pullback. That's what defines the higher high and the higher low. You've got to have a higher move, a stronger move up to exceed a prior high. And to have a higher low, not a new low, but a higher low, you have to have a more mild pullback. That right there creates a price pattern known as a bull flag. Now, there are other price patterns. Believe me, in this group, folks, if you are new here, we have a lot of folks that attend each week and they're very knowledgeable. They've been here with us for a little bit and oftentimes, and they're very knowledgeable about a lot of different price patterns. So they'll say, I'm seeing, an inverted head and shoulders pattern. I'm seeing a cup and handle pattern. I'm seeing a triangle pattern, a number of different things. You can still get those with the trend, and those can run for a 3 to 15 day or more time frame. In fact, 3 to 15 bars is what I would say, daily bars. A lot of times, though, traders might just define a swing trade as anything 1 month or less, up to a month. And that's pretty far out, but that's going to probably capture almost every swing trader out there. 1 month or less, right? That's a month down there, that one. All right. So I wanted to kind of tell you where we're at on that, but yeah, you'll see a lot of the description that I just highlighted here, but we're going to be looking today at really kind of the core area of the flag pattern. That is the pullback right here and some of the signs and indications that we've got. And I'm really excited to show everybody a new script that I've been working on, a Think script. Think scripts aren't guaranteed for timeliness or accuracy, but we do have those. I teach a class on it. I'm actually developing one for this Thursday in relationship to this as well, if you guys are interested in that. Anyhow, let's dive into our discussion. That's plenty of kind of updates is where we're at. Let's see. Quick note just coming through here. Michael, to see do we need to see this daily candles? Candles are helpful because candles can give us some insight into the move as well. A candlestick itself can do that. Let me knock out some of these real quick, these moving averages. But yeah, candles can give us more information than, let's just say, well, I mean, bar charts can as well. There are ways to interpret a bar chart that can be similar to candles. You might get a little bit more information from a candle. It's a great question. These are the candlestick charts that you're saying. This is how we define the OHLC, the open, high, the low, and the close right here, and you get that reference point up top here. But yeah, we do use them in this class. I think most of the coaches do. Connie, you tell me otherwise, but I think Connie does too. Line charts just don't give as much information, but you can still kind of see patterns from a line chart. But that would be, preferable in a lot of ways. I think most of the coaches here do use that. Good question to get us started. All right. There's a look, by the way, at the S&P 500, and you'll actually notice that the S&P itself in this, what a lot of analysts are calling like an AI type move, an AI innovative cycle, artificial intelligence, right? That innovation and productivity benefits from that. We're getting some bigger moves in the market, NASDAQ, S&P 500, but you'll notice over here too, big picture. And this is kind of a longer, flags can be more than the swing trade time frame. You see this giant move up here? Well, what are we getting? Well, we're getting a big move that is crossing above a prior high range right here, right? And that's a big leg up. It's kind of the pole of the flag. And then we're getting what's referred to as maybe a pennant or a triangle type pattern. That is known for lower highs and higher lows. I'll say that again. Lower highs and higher lows will create a bit of a coiling type pattern here. A lot of times these are noted for breaking out in the direction of the trend. Where's the trend headed? Well, the trend is up. So the anticipation would be an upside move. We're in the dog days of summer, and sometimes I've heard this referred to by the old timers as the summer doldrums, but there's also something referred to as the summer rally, which kicks in about mid-July, some will say. I've seen that before. We're getting close to that, which is fascinating. A summer rally time frame, which could be like right in this range over here. I mean, and we're not too far from that, are we? Like a week or so out. But breaking above this range could give us a setup to look for a number of bull flags because if the market itself is showing strength, the S&P 500, we've got 500 stocks in here. It stands to reason that there might be a number of companies too that maybe have pulled back and are also within the S&P 500 setting up for a move. Now, a lot of traders will look at, let's say, an ETF on the S&P 500. We don't go into that in here, but there are ETFs that will look at maybe some of the major market indices and sectors and industries as well. So that's an area some traders will look for, some investors, but we're going to look at specific stocks here today. Before I even get into that too, what I wanted to do is actually just talk about just a couple of different things that are moving in the markets as well as we take a look at this. Just quickly here, Walmart had a little bit of a bigger pullback. They kind of bounced up a little bit. There's some news on some of the grocery price cuts from Walmart. It's really interesting because if you look at Walmart, folks, the one thing you don't ever want to do, well, it's tough, it's tricky, is to try to catch a falling knife in the market. When the market's really dipping for a particular stock like this, you can see these lower lows and lower highs. And ooh, right up there, this could be an interesting turning point. We shall see right there. Can Walmart break up and maybe hold this prior resistance level, maybe kind of form a base in here? Maybe a pattern unfolds. Now, this is a long ways away from a trend, and you can see that this is, it did previously have a number of these kind of flag moves, right? The flag formation. Now, a quick note on the flag formation. When you see the flag, as we're seeing now actual charts and them unfolding, you measure the price move initially here, okay? Like you'd see down here, kind of in hindsight, you could see that. Here, folks, would be the flag portion, right? And that flag portion would be right in here. And here is the follow through of the original move, and that is referred to as a flag. The nice thing oftentimes about price patterns, now, it doesn't always happen this way, but they do give you a price projection. Whether they hit there or not is another story, but some traders like to build on that and kind of utilize that information, if that makes sense. So this price pattern move right there, equal, folks, in many, many cases to the move here. And that might just be the starting point. It's a great case in point right here. Was it just the starting point? Folks, it represented that trend. Take a look. You see the move? The price projection? These are almost equivalent. Do it again on a longer term scale. We could say that this giant move over here is kind of a flag. Patterns within patterns, you can find them as well. The trend, folks, is unfolding. All I'm pointing to there, God, it gets messy real quick with these big markers on here, but there you go. Like this one and this one. Notice the price ranges. Price over here is equivalent. It's interesting. Look over here. This one will extend a little bit higher, but notice this point. See how the markets can kind of flag? And it just runs up here. Price to price. That's what we look for in this class. Now, this one was a lot longer. In fact, the price time frame, well, actually, you know what's fascinating? If you're looking at a 1 month chart all the way to the end, if you go over here and you measure right around in here somewhere, that's it's a pretty big move over that time frame. We have since broken down though. This is just one of the stocks in the news, but I couldn't resist. I had to draw some flags in here because that's what we're going to be talking about in a form of a more refined think script today that I wanted to highlight for you guys so that you can go out and find these as well. Now, some of the airline stocks as well are in the news, but they're pulling back. Notice over here, does this look a little bit familiar? This has been flagging for a while. Now you start to see the flag pattern. This is a big one there, and it hit. This is one of the trades that we had looked at here. It did hit its target. We've looked at a few others. It's been bullish on some of these as of late, especially with the price of oil going down. It's really kind of been a benefit to the airlines, of course. It's a big input cost, fuel costs, of course. But there you go. Pulling back, a super quick note here. They will tend to staircase up. What do I mean by staircase? When the pullback happens, oftentimes, not every time, but frequently enough where you can catch it, it might rest on the prior high. Do you see it? So you're getting a support type bounce right there. Just once your eyes have seen this, it's hard to unsee it, but it's tough to maybe see it for the first time. So I wanted to kind of highlight that for you so you can pick up on that. This longer term pullback right there after those highs, trying to make it straight. But yeah, it did come back. It looks just like it touched off that level, very close to it right here. Notice right here, clear this off right. Come on now, right there. Did you pull back? And so what are traders maybe looking at now? Maybe somewhere in here, question mark. It's been bouncing. Keep an eye on it. There are earnings, but you can really look at a lot of trends and it helps to kind of decipher where might I try to get in on this upward trend if somebody is in fact interested. These are all examples, right, that we're looking at here. But these are some of the things that traders, investors will look at as they're trying to pinpoint an entry, maybe still trying to buy low, even though prices have gone up, they're buying low with the trend itself. Because you have to say, it's better to buy down here than it is up here. One of the things is, for sure, this is a higher point, this is a lower point, it would be relatively cheaper to buy here, but it also might be ready to move on up as well. And so that's where that flag is really, really helpful, right? It's a high move, but we're waiting for prices. We're trying to get in as it's just ready to get going, right? And trying to capture the big portion of that move. This move, meeting and similar to this move. Because why? Strong move, mild correction creates a flag pattern in the direction of the trend. All right. I hit that one pretty good. I can't help but take a look at this one though. SPXC space. Okay, so SpaceX, still some news on this. It's holding right around that 150 level. Clearly down, not a lot of data. I'll state this just for the way that some traders will look at this. When you don't have a lot of data or when there's quick moves, some traders will even go into let me just hit the right arrow over here, 30-minute time frame, and they might look for flag patterns here. Now, conversely, you have bear flag, bear flag, bear flag. Do you see the flag? That's a bear flag because the trend is going down. I'm going to be focusing on bull flags today, but I wanted to highlight that for you. Okay, so that's kind of what we're looking at in the market, a few different things that are happening in the market right now as we speak. Now, back to the markets here, and let's dive right on into this. Just a quick note on the chat here. Looks like we're all caught up. Awesome. Yeah, CL, I did see that, Jay Richardson. Yeah, CL starting to go up, and that can change the dynamic of a lot of different things too in the market. But there you go. Look at that. Don't know what the news is here. Kind of fascinating. We made it all the way down. We actually closed that gap right there, that lower gap, which is fascinating. I don't think a lot of people thought we were going to go all the way down there when we were at 110, given all the information that was going on. And by the way, let's just do this too, because since we've got the commodities up, there is gold. Gold's been down, kind of holding near that 4,000 level. A lot of stocks within gold too, like the gold miners, right? To keep an eye on there. Oh, NEM kind of flat. Maybe there's some support. See the prior highs over here? Maybe some support over here. What's another? Barron's. Excuse me, Barron's. Barrick. Barrick. That too. Notice this major high? Kind of bouncing a little bit. Interesting. We'll see what's happening here. What chart app we're using? So great question. This is the Thinkorswim Paper Money platform. It's a demo account I'm using here, CM or CMART, and this is part of it's what you get with it's through Charles Schwab. So you get this for it's an aspect of to the way to view charts, etc., within your account through Charles Schwab. So, all right, good question though. Yeah, key point if you're seeing this online. All right, all right, let's do this. We're going to tap into more of this in terms of the Thinkorswim platform and tap into just more capabilities. It has a lot of capacity to do a lot of different things. And you guys remember that, I mean, how did I find, like, for example, we've talked about this before and I've shown some of these companies, but here's RL. What do you see in RL here? I used actually a scan. It's actually a more refined scan. It's really, really quite straightforward. I'm going to explain that to you today because the whole concept today was help you to try to find some of these swing moves as they may be setting up. You can see over here, this is one we'd looked at previously. This was one that ran up. There was definitely resistance here, but you look what happened. Do you see this? I'm just going to narrow it down to these lines. Line, flag, and the follow through line, which is similar in price. Do you get it? Do you see it? What would we be looking at here? Well, perhaps right towards what we perceive to be the end of the flag. And that's a key word. Where is the end of the flag? And that's what we want to talk about today. Where is it? Well, there might be a bounce in here, and there was, and oftentimes something interesting happens, and that is a close above the high of the low day. Low day, here's your pullback. Low day, low day, low day. We're falling back. That's a new low. That's a new low. That's a new low. When did we actually get above the high of the low day? If these are all low days, they all have highs associated with them. We can see that on those candlesticks too. Let me put it in a different area. So this is going to highlight the highs of the low day. High, high, high. There's a higher high, but we still have a low. Did we close above that yet? No. We got a new low. We got a new low. And on this day, We actually closed above that high, but we did make a new low on the day. So we'd have to wait for another high right there to take out the high of the actual official low day. You could say that was a low day, sure was, and we closed above it. That's an interesting indication that, hey, maybe things are starting to shift here. But unfortunately, there was a new low made there. And for some traders that are really looking for a close above the high of the low day, boom, right there, our bar is right there. And notice how that got the move going. Now, is anything 100% in the market? No, but we look for that in the direction of that upward trend. It can be helpful. So I bring you this right now through a scan that I'm going to pull up and talk about right now. And it's really kind of a cool, versatile scan as well. But look at this over here. Now, the one thing I noted, and one way to determine this, and one of the things we do tap in here to is a moving average to help us with the underlying trend. And you might have a number of different moving averages. The great thing is the scan we've got here is versatile enough that you can change it around that moving average. One that's very commonly used, we used a lot, Connie and I used this number a lot in the past, and that is the 30. The 30-day moving average. Are prices greater than the 30-day moving average? Is price greater than the 30-day moving average? Question mark. If so, we're probably above a line over here. I can tell you right now we are, because this got a signal for us. But if you wanted to alter it, you can certainly change it. But notice it's an average of prices, and that can really help us understand if price is above that, and we've averaged the last 30 days, well, then there's the likelihood of a trend. Okay, let's throw it on. Here we go. Oh, I've just changed this one. I've got some already added in here. Here's our 30. Let's make this nice and clear. Let's just go blue and we'll go here. Yeah, there we go. Take a look at it. Oh, let's make sure we're showing it. There we go. So here's our 30. Are we above it? Yes. Were we above it over here when it was flagging? Sure, we were. We were actually above it over here. The next thing I wanted to do is give us a time frame for a pullback. So a rather consistent pullback too. I don't want to see anything like this. Gapping down here, gapping up here on the flag. It's got to be a nice little something that we can actually visually recognize as a flag too. That's baked into the code. Let me show it to you right now. In fact, I'm going to go over here and just highlight this. Make sure that I've got this. Oh, I got to load it up. Sorry. Here we go. Let's load it up here. So this is the basic bull flag that we've got right here today. And this is it. Let me show it to you right now. And I'm going to share this. Again, think scripts aren't guaranteed for 10 minutes accuracy, but as long as the data is coming through the platform good, this should act mathematically. And we do have good data. So I'm just going to throw that out there to you. I adapted this concept from an earlier concept, but I did tweak it a little bit. I changed it. This is the key point for what you're after in the flag, and I'll show you how this works. There is your moving average. So folks, this is tied into the what? The trend. What kind of a trend do you want? Do you want it to be above the 20? Shorter term, quicker. Or do you want it to be the 200? Whatever it is, it's the trend that you're after. I put this in here because some of you are beyond the 1 month trends. I've done that. I mean, I've looked at that kind of stuff before, for sure. I mean, I've traded weekly price patterns, weekly flag patterns that have longer term moves. They don't happen as much. In fact, they're less common. But if you can find, I mean, if you can find something like this on a weekly chart, and by the way, these are oftentimes fundamental type moves to get it to move on a weekly. But if you see something like this on a weekly that might run for 3 to 6 months on a flag, some traders, investors are interested in that too. I've opened this up so that you can change this aggregation and it will work just fine. This, in that case, would be weekly pullbacks down here, but you can have different time frames too. Okay, longer term moving averages. Now, the next thing I'm going to highlight, this is a really, I think, a great addition, an advancement to this that we've talked about a lot in the ThinkScript class. minimum pullback bars and maximum pullback bars. Now, this script right now, as you look at the code here, folks, this is designed, and it's an interesting one. Uh, it goes, it's kind of a sort of a manual, sort of an analog in a way, but it does go all the way up to, you guessed it, 10, 10 if it's, zero is less than one. In other words, you can get pullbacks between a 3 to 10. Basically, it's just, it can limit it at 3, but it can also make sure that it goes up to 10. This script is versatile. It goes up to 10. Don't try to go any further because the code is in place. It's not automatic, but it's basic, and the basic code seems to work better uh, quite a bit. It doesn't give you any, it's just really straightforward. But if you can't go greater than 10 bars, which fits the time frame, we can build one for a 15. In fact, you could just follow the same script. I could talk about that Think Script class on Thursday, but normally on that flag pullback, right? We're just looking at up to 10 days. If you wanted to change this, literally, you could go from 1 to 7 and it would work fine, this script. But it can only go up to 10 right now. It's kind of like an analog script, but I found it's very, very durable. It's a pretty durable type script, and it doesn't tend to fib on little areas, and maybe down the road there'll be some advancements to it. But let me just show you what it looks like real quick here. We're going to scan through, and I'll just highlight it. You're going to see RL pop up. And by the way, it is designed to pull up on the S&P 500, but these are happening right now. Okay. I'm going to show you something cool, but this is going to be helpful. There are, some on the NASDAQ 100. You can just run it in the stock hacker, whatever you want to look at it with. There's your RL, folks, and that is exactly how I found it. I had no idea that Ralph Lauren was actually flagging right now. I hadn't looked at Ralph Lauren. It's expensive stock, 300, almost $400 range, but that's where I found it. RL. Okay. Now, a really sweet advancement is over here on the watch list, because with that watch list, something so durable like this, we can come over here and I can pull this up and it will find these pullbacks for us over the time frame we're looking for every single day. It runs the criteria, and during the day too. During the day as well. So you can come down here. I've linked this in red with the charts. Very, very helpful. Nobody likes to type in symbols. But if you do, don't link it. But if you want to make it quick, just link those up. Let's hit what's right off the bottom here. That is Williams Sonoma, I believe. There's your flag pullback. Do you see it right there? What's happening? This script is literally saying, in a somewhat orderly way, a 3 to 10-day pullback, minimum 3. We're not looking for a 1-day pullback from the high range. We're looking for a minimum 3, maximum 5. Min 3, we can change it to a degree, right? Max 10. Did I say 5? I said 5. Max 10, up to 10 days. 10 bars. Days in this case. But look at this over here. Could we be setting up for a larger move? Wow, we're right there. We're bounced off it today. Now, I'm not going to say that this is the move and it's just it's going to start here, but it's interesting to consider. That, folks, is a powerful move right there. If the S&P 500 begins to move up, could it help some of these other companies start to move up as well? Yeah, question mark. It could, though. I mean, if the market itself is showing some strength, it could present something interesting. What was that key point that we talked about, though? Are we going to be fine with this? Or are we going to require maybe something a little bit more? There's the pullback we talked about. I want to look at some of the others as well, because it's kind of a unique list. There's only 12 out of the entire S&P 500 that are hitting right now within that range. But we have maybe some measurements in here, which are beautiful to take a look at, right? Yes. So this is something that we built, Govin, just as a quick note. And yes, can you share the scan? Yes, I will, Paul, right now. I'll share it. and I'll show you how to input it. And so you can try to find some of these scenarios and setups that are unfolding here. We do look at these kind of setups throughout the week, and there is quite a bit going on in terms of trade management behind the scenes that we look at each week as well. But let's just do that right now while we're talking about it. Then we'll look at a few others. But if you go over here to the scan, what you could do is just come up top here, and I'm just going to share it. Again, not guaranteed for time, minutes, or accuracy, but here we go. There is that scan query. I'm going to pull it in right now here for you. So this is just BF for short, bull flag, and there you got it. All right, it's just the basic bull flag criteria. Okay, and I've put different explanations in here on that so you can check it out, read it. But this analog, it just seems to be more durable in terms of it's just like really straightforward in terms of what we're providing and what we're sending through to the computer so that it can decipher it without any sort of mixed messages, if that makes sense. All right, so there we go. Once you get that code, go to setup up top. It'll be a little bit different in the Mac, but still look for this gear icon. Go to open shared item, just copy it, the one I just put in and paste it in, I'm sorry. So paste it, preview, name it, probably what it is, or something that you'll recognize it as. And then once you've done that, you can go over here into the scan, click over into the box and put in, say, just load scan query, and you'll find it in your personal folders right there. But you got to be in the scan tab up top. Main tab scan, sub tab stock hacker right there. So you got that there. Okay. We build these in the ThinkScript class on Thursdays, and this week I couldn't quite get it, but what I'm going to devise on Thursday, in addition to our regular topic, is I'm going to have the next step here, which I was seeing if you guys pick up on. Just, if you close above the high of the low day, that could be your signal. Can we run a scan for that too? Yes, as a matter of fact, I've got one more scan to share with you that has this acronym, close above the high of the low day, or CAHOLD right there, okay? The CAHOLD there. So this will be kind of helpful to get some indications that maybe that flag is beginning to get close to its termination end, and perhaps it might start to run with the underlying trend itself. And, in other words, revert back into the trend instead of going counter trend. All right. Folks, if you're getting any value from this discussion, do me a favor and just smash that like button. Let's Connie and I know that this presentation is of value, and we appreciate that. It gets the word out so that lets people know, excuse me, what we have here. Okay. And then with that, a quick note too, I'd love to have you subscribe to our Trader Talks channel over here. As you can see, the Trader Talks channel right here, free to subscribe to. And as you can see, we have a playlist over here, a lot of great content off of our playlists. You can come down here and you can see a bunch here, like some good stuff from Connie. Tons of stuff I encourage you to take a look at. There's a great one there. She's got starting with, start here, and some others to take a look at. This is the one for our swing trade class. I'll just do this too. I'll just post this real quick, put it in the chat. All right, post that in. There we go. So this is the swing trade playlist. We talked about one recently that was patterns within patterns that can be really helpful too. But you guys have that. But yeah, like this, subscribe to our channel. It'll just say right here, subscribe. But by the way, I'm going to post this in here too, because I'd love to have you on board. We've got about 205,000 subscribers. Love to have each of you here if you'd like this content. But there is the Trader Talks. I just put it in as well. Real simple to subscribe. And then this kind of content would come up for you in your, well, in your feed, your YouTube feed as it arrives there. But down here as well, we did, this is that ThinkScript that we tie into, and I'll tie some of these in as well. We did one last week on moving average clusters where you can find combinations of prices just breaking above the 20, the 50, the 100, whatever you want. It will take you to stocks that are just breaking above those levels, kind of like a confluence of those. We also have done some recent ones here in terms of this this is referred to as good as it gets script. It's not mine. It was built online, but we converted it into a scan, uh, a VWAP scan as well. So some cool stuff in there. If you guys are interested, check that out. All right, let's get back to our presentation here. And by the way, anybody that's viewing this on the recorded version, I will put this link that I just shared in the chat in the description section under more. Just find more. You'll find it under description underneath the video, the recorded video. All right. By the way, just real quick, what are some others in here? Look at this one. So just barely breaking above a high here. What's this? I'm not even familiar with Lennox exactly, unless it's like the heaters, you know, heating Lennox. No, maybe not. Okay. Sorry. Just run through a few. There's that RL. Okay. So anyways, you guys, some interesting ones to kind of take a look at here, but they are interesting. This one's still in the pullback phase, right? Now let's do this. Let's kind of these are really interesting to keep an eye on, and a lot of traders will look at them and track them, but we can also incorporate this one right over here. It's along the same lines, but it's just the bull flag with the Cahold using the same sort of an analog. I'm going to click on this right now. I'm going to share this as well with you guys. I'm going to take a look at it and highlight what it has to show us as well. It takes a little bit longer. It's got to scan through a little bit more information to get that hold in place. Taking a little bit longer. Now, the cool thing is I did get a list of a couple of them that were showing up. Is this as we're waiting on this? There it goes. But what's unique about this script, aside from the fact that you're looking for an indication now that the flag is terminating and maybe the swing trade begins and that entry setup could be there, depending upon what traders are looking for. But look over here with me. This is the addition. I just added the plus Cahold, but it's got the same setup. We've added one key component. It's got to close above the high, the low day, and I've given you guys an input bar in here within whatever you want it. I said within the next 5 bars. I think 5 is interesting, but you could potentially change that to a different number. But it just gives you, in other words, you had the Cahold. It's coming up here. It pulls back. Here is your Cahold right here. Let's say you break above the high of the low day. One day, 2, 3, 4, 5. You guys get it. Anywhere between 1 to 5, the scan will spot it and it will show it to us. Okay. That's why we had more over here, because we've had some of these that have hit over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And from what I saw in the scan results, it seemed to be doing exactly what I was anticipating. It still requires. So here it is. Phase 1, you got to have the pullback. Phase P1, phase 1, phase 2. And within phase 1, the trend in the pullback, like we just saw, but phase 2, you had the Cahold, and it's within whatever time frame you set. I think the 5-day is interesting, and let me tell you why. Because if you come up here and you get the Cahold right there, you know what you got to do? You got to count. Sometimes it goes like this. It bounces up. Maybe that's a 5-day move, and then it goes like that. So I just gave it more time. That's all. Let me show it to you right now. Look at some of these. As we come down here and take a look at it, what do we have? CMI's one. Cummins is in there. CMI. There you go. Oh, interesting. So CMI. Oh, this is fascinating. Take a look. It had it within 5 days ago, but it actually failed. Now, did this one look great? No, it was okay. I mean, it could still show us something, but look at this. It's going to show you even the failures as well. Over here, here's your jump up. Did we get a Cahold? We did. Where's the Cahold at? This is a great example to see the other side of it. 1, 2, 3 bar pullback. There's your Cahold right there. And we had another one. I think it's pulling this one right here because that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days back. We would have had one earlier too, but there were a couple, look at it, a couple of Cahold failures. It looks like that Cahold right there nailed it and ran. Okay. But Cummings, it's not like a tech. It's not moving with a lot of semiconductors, and that could pose something as well. But interesting, it did follow through and it found it. But I'm just letting you know, if you wanted to shorten that time frame, you could do that too, and that might cut back on some of these. Here's the scan. I'll share it here in just a sec. So here we go. So look at this. What some others? DG. I'm going to look at some of the techs as well, but look at DG. Dollar General's in there, and that also is a dividend payer. Procter and Gamble, I believe that is a dividend aristocrat. Don't quote me on that. I'm pretty sure it might be the one that have raised the dividends 25 years consecutively. But that's what a dividend aristocrat is. Company on the S&P 500, which we're scanning. But let's take a look at it. Here's DG first. Okay, interesting. Now, notice one other key point. We ran this, and these are the limitations of what we're looking for here. This is above the 30, just like we said, and the code's looking for that. I could add another one in here too to filter this, and I could say you got to be above the 200. The longer term trend, and this could be interesting because you're getting some movement off the bottom, but the longer term trend may still be below the 200-day. There's more that we can do, and we can talk about this in our ThinkScript class, but here's the 200. Let's just see where we're at because see that we're below the 200. So if we set above the 30, short term, above the 50 even, intermediate term, or the 100 intermediate term, the 200 right there, long term, above all three, that could be interesting. That was not part of the original that I've adapted here, but we could add this in a snap if we wanted to. I can show you that on the ThinkScript class on Thursday, folks. So you can get all of them in here. That'll minimize some of these. What does PG look like while we're at it? Okay, there you go. Okay, so this one actually is above the 200. It is above the 30. I'm sure it's probably above the 100 as well. I would anticipate it would be, yeah. It's a little different. Do you see the flag pattern? Let me isolate everything. Let's isolate because it met our criteria. I'm just going to kill these so you could just see it. I'm just going to go here. Do you see the flag pattern now? Do you see the Cahold? It's a big one, but it's showing the possibility of maybe getting ready to. There's the initial flag. I'm just going to say price over here, flagging on down, right? Cahold closed above the high of the low bar, which we didn't get over here really. Not on this pullback, we didn't. This flagged it. So my point is this. If you're looking at this and you got it, we are getting it a couple days late, but could there be more room for this to go just with the price pattern? We don't know if it'll happen. And this is something you'd have to look at because right now we're at resistance. Resistance right there, right? So some might wait for just to trade above resistance, but look at this. Where could it go? I'm just going to eyeball it here. Maybe here? If we're comparing this to this. Okay, let me share it real quick because folks, that went so quick. We're out of time. But here we go. Let me get back into it. There you have it. I'm going to share this one right now. Share that scan query. I'll put it in the chat for you. Cool to have both of them. You can see what's unfolding. There are a number of different instruments you could use, right? Depending upon what you're looking at here. But this is the BF plus Cahold. And you can make adjustments in there as well. Folks, I hope yes, you are. There it is, Mindful Trading Solutions. Mindful Trading Solutions. I love these names. All right. Well, folks, all right. If you did like today's presentation, smash that like button. And lastly, you can follow Connie and I on X, Mike Fairborn CS, Connie Hill CS. She's got some great stuff there. I'm just going to show you recent link we've got just of some of the stuff we send out. There is an X profile, or there's just an X post right there. Yeah, we talked about economic calendar, different scenarios, setups, whatever's happening in the market. But yeah, if that's of interest to you as well, give us a follow there. I'll just throw that in the chat real quick. All right, everybody. Well, it was awesome being with you today. I hope we did accomplish, well, we did accomplish what we were after. We help you find some ways to tap in to some of those capabilities of the Thinkorswim platform to find some of these potential swing trade setups with, in this case, a bull flag plus a bull flag hold type script. Again, not guarantee for time or accuracy, but it was on those. But again, as long as that data is solid running through, that's what we look for. Then oftentimes those things scripts, gonna fold. Just a mathematical thing we looked at today. All right, everybody. Well, on that note, take care, y'all. See you next time. Thanks, Connie. Bye-bye.